The banquet hall smelled of prime rib and expensive wine, the kind Dad's accounting firm always ordered for important events. Sarah stood near the chocolate fountain, her new Louboutins reflecting the chandelier light as she held court with our parents and aunts. She'd made junior associate at Hartman and Cross 3 months ago. I'd heard about it 47 times tonight. Emma just takes time off whenever she wants, Sarah was saying, loud enough for the surrounding tables to hear. No structure. No real career. Just floating. Mom touched Sarah's arm affectionately. Well, your sister made different choices. Different choices. I'd heard that phrase for 6 years. Since I'd left Berkman Chase after making partner at 31, the youngest in the firm's history. Since I'd started my own practice from a converted warehouse in the Arts District while Sarah was still in law school, telling everyone I'd thrown away my future for independence. Dad approached with his golf buddy Richard Chin. Emma still doing the solo practice thing? Richard's nephew needs a lawyer for a DUI. Small stuff but might be good for you. Small stuff. I'd closed a $340 million merger last month. The warehouse now held 23 attorneys across 4 floors. But Dad still saw me as the daughter who'd rejected the safe path. I appreciate it, I said quietly. But I'm not taking new clients right now. See? Sarah gestured with her wine glass. No work ethic. That's why she can't hold down a real position. The room had that specific silence, the kind where people pretend they're not listening while hanging on every word. I felt the old familiar weight settling on my shoulders. The gambler's fallacy. I kept returning to these family events, convinced that eventually the slot machine of their approval would pay out. That if I just endured one more dismissal, stayed silent through one more humiliation, they'd finally see me. But their narrative was more important than my reality. I was reaching for my clutch, ready to leave when I heard the voice. Ms. Reeves? Emma Reeves. The man approaching was in his late 50s, silver-haired, wearing a Tom Ford suit that probably cost more than the entire buffet. His face was familiar in that vague way of people you've seen in conference rooms and legal journals. Yes. I kept my voice neutral. Marcus Hartman. Managing partner at Hartman and Cross. He extended his hand. I've been hoping to catch you. Your firm is handling the Mitchell merger, the tech acquisition. My client needs to discuss the intellectual property clauses before Tuesday's deadline. The chocolate fountain suddenly sounded very loud. Sarah's wine glass had stopped halfway to her mouth, frozen in midair like a photograph. Of course, I said. Though I'm surprised you're here. This is my father's retirement party. Marcus smiled, the kind corporate lawyer's perfect over decades. Your father and I golfed together. Richard introduced us. He glanced around. I didn't realize Sarah was your sister. She works for me, just made junior associate. So I've heard. I kept my eyes on Marcus, but I could see Sarah in my peripheral vision. The color had drained from her face, leaving her foundation looking chalky under the chandelier lights. Actually, I wanted to discuss Sarah's performance on the Brennan case. She's been assigned to your firm's counterparty. Since we're both here, perhaps we could. I'm sorry, I interrupted gently. Which Sarah are you referring to? The silence that followed was absolute. Even the catering staff seemed to pause, trays suspended mid-service. Marcus looked confused. Sarah Reeves. Your sister. She said she was related to the Emma Reeves, but I assumed she meant a different. He stopped. His eyes widened slightly. Wait, you're that Emma Reeves? Reeves Legal Group. I am. The firm handling Mitchell Sebastiani Corp., the Portland housing development that he counted on his fingers. Christ, you're handling 6 of our major opposing counsels right now. Sarah set her wine glass down. It clinked against the table edge too hard. Her hand was shaking. I should clarify something, I said, keeping my voice level. Sarah and I don't discuss our professional lives. I wasn't aware she worked at your firm. And I certainly can't discuss the Mitchell merger at a social event. Of course. Marcus recovered his professional composure, but his eyes kept flicking between me and Sarah. I'll have my secretary schedule a proper meeting. But I do need to address something. He lowered his voice slightly. Sarah listed you as a reference on her associate application. Said you'd worked together at Berkman Chase. My jaw tightened. We'd never worked together anywhere. She'd been in law school when I left Berkman Chase. That's inaccurate, I said simply. I see. Marcus's expression shifted into something harder. I'll need to verify her application materials. This is concerning. Sarah spoke for the first time, her voice coming out strangled. Emma, I can explain. No need. I smiled at Marcus. I'm sure HR will handle it appropriately. Mom had appeared at Sarah's elbow, protective instinct activated. What's going on? Emma, what are you doing? Having a conversation with Mr. Hartman. You remember, Sarah's managing partner at the firm where she just made junior associate. Dad joined the cluster, his retirement celebration forgotten. Marcus, I'm sure there's been some misunderstanding. Emma's practice is very small. Sarah probably just. Dad. I kept my voice soft. My firm has 93 employees. 23 attorneys. We handle corporate litigation and M&A transactions. Last year's revenue was $47 million. This year we're projecting $63 million. The words landed like stones in still water. Ripples of silence spread outward through the banquet hall. Marcus was staring at me with new recognition. The Sebastiani defense. That was you. We lost that case. Cost our client $12 million in settlements. We presented a strong case. Strong. He laughed, but there was no humor in it. You eviscerated our arguments. I had 3 senior partners on that team. He had what? 4 attorneys total. 5 actually. Plus 2 paralegals who did exceptional work. Sarah's hands were gripping the table edge now. Emma, please. But I wasn't finished. 6 years of different choices and no structure were crystallizing into something clear and cold. Mr. Hartman, I need to be transparent about something. Sarah and I have a complicated family dynamic. She's never visited my office. Never asked about my practice. At family events, she refers to me as unemployed or directionless. I don't say this to be cruel. I say it because you should know that any information she's provided about me professionally is based on assumption, not knowledge. Marcus's expression had gone from confused to grave. I appreciate your honesty. This explains some concerns we've had about her attention to detail. Wait, Sarah's voice cracked. You can't just, Emma, tell him this isn't fair. I looked at my sister directly for the first time all evening. Really looked at her. The expensive suit she'd bought to celebrate making junior associate. The Louboutins she'd posted on Instagram with the caption, finally playing with the big firms. The confidence that came from believing she'd achieved something I'd failed to reach. What isn't fair, Sarah? That I won't cover for the fact that you lied on your application? Or that you've spent 6 years telling everyone I'm a failure while I built something you can't even comprehend? The ghost ledger unfurled in my mind like a spreadsheet. Years of family dinners where Sarah announced her law school acceptances while I answered questions about still doing the solo thing. Cost equals credibility non-refundable. Dad's 60th birthday where Sarah gave a toast about real lawyers in prestigious firms, while looking directly at me. Cost equals dignity permanently eroded. Christmas when Mom gave Sarah a Tiffany bracelet for making it, and gave me a Starbucks gift card, since you have so much free time. Cost equals belonging, price incalculable. Every family photo where Sarah positioned herself next to Dad while I stood at the edge, cropped out when posted online. Cost equals visibility stolen repeatedly. The math was clear. The balance had been accumulating for 6 years. And tonight the bill came due. Marcus pulled out his phone. I need to make a call. Sarah, I'll need you in my office Monday morning at 8. Bring copies of all application materials you submitted. He nodded to me. Ms. Reeves, my secretary will contact you about the Mitchell matter. Of course. He walked away, phone already at his ear. The surrounding conversations hadn't resumed. Everyone was watching, waiting to see what came next. You bitch, Sarah whispered. You just cost me my career. No, I said quietly. You cost yourself your career when you lied on your application. I'm just the person who told the truth when asked directly. Mom's hand was on Sarah's shoulder. Emma, this is your sister. How can you? How can I what, Mom? Tell the truth? Refuse to commit fraud? Not sacrifice my professional integrity to maintain Sarah's false narrative about me. Dad's face had gone red. This isn't how family behaves. You help each other. You don't tear each other down. The words hit something deep. A memory surfaced, sharp and clear. Sarah's law school graduation. I'd offered to pay off her student loans, $180,000. Offered it as a gift, not a loan. Dad had pulled me aside. Don't enable her dependence on you. She needs to learn to stand on her own, not rely on handouts. I'd written the check anyway. Made it out to the university directly. Paid off everything. Sarah never knew. When she graduated debt-free due to a scholarship error, she'd posted about her financial responsibility and careful planning. That money could have hired 3 new associates. Expanded the office. Instead, it funded Sarah's career while she called mine a failure. I looked at Dad. You're right. Family should help each other. Want to know how much I've helped Sarah? I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, showed him the payment history. $180,000 in student loan payments. Directly to Northwestern Law. Anonymous donor, processed through my firm's charitable giving account. Sarah's face went from pale to ashen. What? You thought it was a scholarship error. It wasn't. It was me. Paying for your education while you told everyone I was unemployed. The silence was suffocating now. Mom's hand had fallen from Sarah's shoulder. Dad was staring at my phone screen like it contained instructions for a bomb. Why would you? Sarah's voice broke. Why would you do that? Because 6 years ago I still believed that if I proved successful enough, kind enough, generous enough, you'd finally see me. That's the gambler's fallacy. I kept feeding the slot machine of your approval, convinced the jackpot of basic human respect was mathematically inevitable. I put my phone away. But tonight I realized something. You never wanted to see me succeed. You needed me to fail. Because my failure was the foundation of your identity. You're not the successful daughter. You're just the daughter who looked successful standing next to someone you convinced everyone was unemployed. Marcus returned, his expression grim. Sarah, you're suspended pending investigation. 2 weeks paid leave while HR reviews your materials. Don't come to the office. Don't contact clients. He looked at me. Ms. Reeves, I apologize for any uncomfortable position this has put you in. I understand you're doing your job. Emma, please. Sarah reached for my arm. I stepped back. Don't. We're done. What does that mean? Mom's voice was sharp with panic. It means exactly what it sounds like. No more family dinners where I'm the punchline. No more questions about when I'll get a real job. No more subsidizing Sarah's career while she tells people I'm unemployed. We're done. I picked up my clutch, straightened my shoulders. The room was still silent, frozen in the moment like insects in amber. Congratulations on your retirement, Dad. I hope it's everything you've planned. I walked toward the exit. Behind me I heard Sarah's voice, high and desperate. Emma, wait, you can't just leave like this, Emma. But I could. And I did. The cold November air hit my face, sharp and clarifying. The valet brought my car, the Tesla Model S I'd bought after closing the Sebastiani case. As I drove away, I could see the banquet hall in my rearview mirror, lit up and warm, full of people who'd spent 6 years convincing themselves I was failing while I built an empire. 2 months later. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday. Law firm letterhead, Hartman and Cross. I opened it in my corner office, the one with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the river. The one Sarah had never seen because she'd never asked to visit. Dear Ms. Reeves, following our investigation, Sarah Reeves's employment has been terminated for falsification of application materials. We've also identified billing irregularities that have been referred to the state bar. Separately, we'd like to discuss bringing your firm in as co-counsel on the Brennan appeal. Your work on Sebastiani demonstrated exactly the kind of strategic thinking we need. Please contact my office at your earliest convenience. Regards, Marcus Hartman. I set the letter down. Through my window I could see the converted warehouse where I'd started 6 years ago. Now our overflow office space. 93 employees. Revenue projected to hit $71 million this year. 3 major merger acquisitions in progress. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad. Emma, we need to talk. Sarah's in trouble. She needs family right now. I deleted it without responding. Another text from Mom. How can you be so cruel? He made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. I deleted that one too. The third text was from Sarah directly. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please. I'll lose everything. I stared at that one longer. Thought about the ghost ledger. The years of erasure. The $180,000 in loans I'd paid while being called unemployed. The opportunities I'd missed because I was too busy trying to prove I deserved basic respect. I deleted the text. Then I blocked the number. Revenge wasn't rage. It was surviving their dismissal so well that when they finally needed me, I had the luxury of walking away. I turned back to my desk where the Mitchell merger documents waited. A $340 million transaction that would close in 3 days. Work that mattered. A career that existed whether or not my family acknowledged it. From my office, one of 12 locations across 3 cities, my future began now. The account was closed. The balance was 0. And I was finally in the black.